Well, Mr. Tom Green, it's such an honor to speak with you today. Honestly, I grew up when you were just starting to take over the world, and I was absolutely glued to everything you did.
Wow. Well, that's what an intro. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No, of course, your unique creative, vision really influenced many, just like myself. And to be honest, a lot of the content that I found myself binging of yours was probably downloaded illegally at the time.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I think that was the only way to get it back then.
Congrats on all the 2025 projects. Absolutely love everything you're doing. That's streaming now on Prime Video. This is the Tom Green documentary, which I loved. And obviously, I'm enjoying the Tom Green country as well. That's a fun journey as well. So I'm taking that week to week so I can spread it out because I need as much Tom Green content as possible.
All right. Yeah, no, it's really been a lot of fun releasing these projects. It's kind of cathartic in a way because the documentary tells the story of the whole run of the Tom Green Show and everything before and after that. And my new series on Prime is about my new chapter in my life, moving back to the country and getting a farm and settling in there. So things are going really good with it, and everybody's having a lot of fun watching it. And thank you for telling everyone about it.
No, of course. And I missed you when you just came to Houston. I couldn't make it. And I know you're touring as well. But everyone that went had a great time. I know everyone that's coming to your shows as you travel are having an amazing time as well.
Yeah, on tour now. I'm traveling across America right now. And our next stop is Colorado. I'm in Los Angeles right now here doing some promotion for the new series on Prime. But then, yeah, back on the road again tomorrow.
Busy man indeed. And you've always been fearless in comedy and entertainment. What gave you the confidence to be so bold early on? And were you ever scared of how people might react?
I think I was always kind of trying to get a reaction from my friends and, people at school and just generally in life, with comedy and just trying to be goofy and stuff. So it was sort of like sort of became part of my life to try to go out and get a reaction from people. So filming it was just a natural next extension. But, there was desperation involved, that's what gave me the confidence. Desperation, no plan B. I had no real idea of anything that I would like to do in my life other than maybe go make funny videos and try to do a television show and do comedy. So because of that pure desperation, I ended up just sort of not questioning things and just threw myself into it,
No, I love that. And you've always seemed to embrace discomfort in your comedy. Also, like I remember you came a long time ago to the Improv in Houston. I came to that show and that's a very memorable show of yours. But do you think that's essential ingredient for great comedy is discomfort?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Not essential, not an essential ingredient. I think that like even my earlier work was more polarizing than what I do now. I think it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, you do have to have some sort of target in comedy. It doesn't always necessarily have to make the audience uncomfortable, but you do have to have some sort of contrast, I guess. But yeah, I don't think it's essential, no.
I mean, you've done so much in your career. Do you ever look back and think, I can't believe I did that, or had a moment where you maybe thought, I've gone maybe too far?
Not really, no, because we always kind of were trying to think of what would be too far, and then we would go do that. So it was kind of the goal. So it would have been kind of silly to then second guess ourselves if we went too far. But I guess sometimes I was surprised at the reaction to going too far. Like I always assumed that people would be able to kind of calculate what it was we were trying to do and kind of understand that we were purposefully going too far, and then they would sort of see the intent behind it. But when I made like my movie Freddy Got Fingered, a lot of people were shocked to it to the point that they really didn't want to sort of acknowledge the fact that it was done purposefully, So that was, I didn't think I went too far, but maybe some people think we went too far with that.
speaking of your films, all your performances and everything that you star in or appear in are fantastic. Is there maybe a character or role you wanted to revisit?
Uh, you never know. Maybe we could bring Gord Brody back from Freddy Got Fingered, and he could see what he's up to these days. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean that's such a memorable film. I do have to mention one of my favorite films of yours is probably Stealing Harvard. I just love Tough.
That's cool. Shot here in Los Angeles. Yeah, not too far from where I'm sitting right now. So yeah, that was a fun movie. That was directed by Bruce McCullough from The Kids in the Hall. I'm not sure if you knew that, but he's a Canadian legend himself, and it was a lot of fun making that movie with Jason Lee and a great cast for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're part of so many great casts, a lot of great ensembles in all your films. You've done so much in your career. What is something that excites you most about today's creative landscape?
I do like the fact that there's sort of this sort of no entry fee required ability to just throw yourselves into distributing content. You know, like even what we're doing right now, just having this conversation just on our phones, and here we're making a television show right now. It's pretty cool. It wasn't like that back when I was a kid. You had to actually sort of convince somebody to let you be on the air, and it was not that easy to do. You know, it was only so many places you could go to actually do a television show. So that's exciting because then everybody can kind of go out and be creative and put their stuff out there and see what happens.
Yeah, you've created a blueprint for many people out there on just everything you're doing in the beginning. And are there any comedians or entertainers or even filmmakers today that remind you of yourself when you first started out?
Well, all the big podcasters, I think I find very inspiring because everybody's really kind of changing the game right now. I've just been here in Los Angeles doing a bunch of great shows. I was just on Theo Vaughn's podcast and Tom Segura's podcast and Bert Kreischer's podcast and Howie Mandel's podcast, who's of course been doing comedy a lot longer than I have, but still right there on the cusp of things. So I find that really exciting, and yeah, it's amazing that literally podcasting seems to be changing the world, really, literally.
Yeah, you just mentioned a bunch of great podcasters, entertainers. Howie Mandel, obviously one of my all-time favorites. I got to do like a prank with him on my mom, and he's a great prankster. And he did this little online bit where he called my mom and was trying to tell her that, your son signed you up to take in like 100 ferrets in your house. We're pulling up right now. Are you able to do it?
There you go. Absolutely. That's a lot of. It's fun putting animals in your parents' house. Do you actually put the animals in the house, or?
No, it's just over the phone call. He was pretending to be someone else.
You didn't actually put the ferrets in the house, though. Oh, no, you have to actually put the ferrets in the house.
Well, then I'll do a follow-up with you, and we'll do that.
Let's go watch my old bit where I filled my house with farm animals. You got to actually put the ferrets in the house.
Yeah, it was. My mom was
Don't pull any punches, man. Put the ferrets in the house. Put the ferrets in the house, man. Put the ferrets in the house.
I love that. We definitely have to follow up with that. You've definitely obviously crossed paths with so many big names in entertainment. Has there been someone you never expected to become friends with, or someone that surprised you that really appreciated all the work that you've done?
Well, I'm always kind of surprised when people are, when you meet somebody and you get to know somebody and they're really kind of super positive about my work, and it's always nice when you meet your peers. I just did Bill Maher's podcast just the day before yesterday. It's coming out soon, and we had an amazing talk, and it was super cool. And there's nobody smarter in comedy and who's done more in this sort of political landscape that we're in to kind of try to make some sense of everything that's going on and also be funny at the same time. So it was really cool to be on his show. And, but it's been a really great thing putting this documentary out because I've been going around and doing, like I said, all these shows, and everybody's really kind of responding to the history of the Tom Green Show and talking about sort of kind of like what we're doing right now. And so it's a nice thing for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad that documentary came out. I learned so much that I didn't know. I think a lot of people that really don't know much about you are going to be really, impressed and shocked about what they learned. It's a fantastic documentary from someone that made their own documentary. It is amazing. So job
Yeah.
well done with that.
I directed it. The last movie I directed was Freddy Got Fingered. So, this documentary is going to be good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I love that. And, lastly, I do want to ask, your parents have been such a big part of your journey, not just in your career, but in your life as a whole. How much does it mean to you that they have supported you and have been an influence over the years for you?
Well, it's the best. I mean, I couldn't have done it without them. They've always had my back, and they're my biggest fans. And I think that's always something that's really, you can't even measure how important it is to have the support of your friends and family when you're doing this kind of thing. So, no, it's great. My parents are the stars of the new show and the documentary. I mean, they get all the big laughs. I think people really relate to the relationship between, parents and their and their children, and when you see them interacting. It's always something that really, I think, kind of, when you think about after the Tom Green show, and I used to pull all these pranks on my parents, and then after that show, when I did the Tom Green show, I was pulling these pranks on my parents. Nobody really knew what to think. They'd never seen that before. They didn't know. People would say, "Are those your real parents? Are those actors?" They didn't understand. It was sort of before reality TV really took off. It was before we saw families on TV, disintegrating before our eyes. Arguing with each other, the Kardashians and the Osbournes, and Viva La Bam, and all these types of shows where it was sort of parents and their offspring kind of going at it, and so yeah, it's good to keep that going. My parents, of course, it kind of turns it's kind of a different angle. I'm not going in and pulling pranks on my parents. I'm 53 years old now, and I think it's time for them to kind of turn the tables. They kind of pull a few pranks on me actually in the show, so you got to check it out.
Yeah, and your parents are amazing. Your dad's really funny as well. He has got some really good one-liners when he says he's really good at just saying some really funny things. That kind of shocking, but he is your dad at the end of the day.
He always does have a good zinger, and my mom too. So they have distinct senses of humor from each other, but I think it's kind of we all kind of complement each other well. It makes for a pretty ridiculous conversation around the dinner table every time, and just putting some cameras on it. The show really just kind of wrote itself really when we were filming with my parents.
No, I love that. Since the beginning, you've been giving us great content, great entertainment. Tom, I want to thank you for being a beacon for those who are unafraid to push boundaries. It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for your great article, and thanks for this. Appreciate it, man.